The cultural importance of cats extends to fighter games.
Capcom's Street Fighter series has a playable character, namely Sagat, and even though this character's first name doesn't exactly reference a big cat breed, his whole moveset references the tiger. At least one example constitutes his tiger uppercut, but you get the picture. Likewise, Sagat's ex-apprentice, namely Adon, has a whole moveset in reference to the jaguar. Even though an other playable Street Fighter character, Cammy, isn't exactly a cat-themed character, her character biography states she's an amnesiac who doesn't remember the first name given to her by birth. A fellow Street Fighter character, Sakura, consequently renamed her Cammy after a domestic small cat that was located in Sakura's neighborhood, and even similar in personality. As a result, the amnesiac Street Fighter character began to embrace cats. Capcom's Darkstalkers series introduced another cat-themed playable character, namely Felicia, who constitutes a fictional hybrid of cat and woman. Judging by her appearance and personality, I'll assume she's based on the domestic cat, because domestic cats carry 9/10 the same DNA as humans. SNK's The King of Fighters series has a playable female character, namely Leona, and Leona constitutes the feminine name for lion in Greek. The first Injustice game, developed by NetherRealm Studios, contained one cat-themed playable character, namely Catwoman, who's the alias of Selina Kyle. The character technically appeared in the very first Batman comic by April 1940, but hadn't yet taked on her cat costume. Selina Kyle's cat costume resembles the domestic cat because she actually has a pet collection of domestic cats. Even though Catwoman occupied a playable character slot in the first Injustice game, it actually wasn't the first time she got such publicity in a DC-licensed fighting game, because she'd previously been playable in the Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe crossover developed by Midway Games. Granted that Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe wasn't as popular, and Midway Games became defunct shortly after the two-way crossover got published. Injustice 2 added Wonder Woman's enemy, Cheetah, as one more cat-themed playable character. More precisely, the third Cheetah incarnation, Barbara Minerva, who'd been an archaeologist, as illustrated by issue number 7 of Wonder Woman Volume 2 in August 1987. Based on a big cat breed by the same name, Barbara Minerva became accursed to an anthropomorphic cheetah after she betrayed Wonder Woman to seek the powers of a god. When this cheetah incarnation got a playable slot in Injustice 2, there'd been a 30-year gap between when they first appeared in the DC universe and when the aforementioned fighting game got published. As a character, Cheetah firstly appeared in Wonder Woman comic book issue number 6 by October 1943, but this first cheetah incarnation rather wore a cheetah costume from a cheetah skin rug. In that context, Priscilla Rich occupied the cheetah alias. On a side note, cheetahs constitute the fastest cats and overall fastest land animals, but their exceptional speed requires them to be less physically strong than other big cats. It's not a cute coincidence when both tigers and domestic cats get largely referenced inside the fighter game genre. Domestic cats actually carry 95% the same DNA as tigers, which means it's not a stretch when domestic cat lovers describe their domestic cat companions as little tigers. The tiger-themed Sagat's been part of the Street Fighter series since its very first entry. All the way back in Street Fighter 1, Sagat appeared as an in-game boss battle, and a major one at that, as he actually hosted the first World Warrior tournament. Sagat's Street Fighter 1 boss role poetically references the tiger as not only a predator, but a high-ranked one at that, in the animal kingdom. Fast forward to the most influential fighter game, namely Street Fighter 2. Sagat reappeared as a mini-boss in the original release, but also became an optionally playable character in the Champion Edition. While the fighter game genre owes its expansion due to Street Fighter 1, and for that matter Street Fighter 2, it's safe to say the fighter game genre owes itself to the very cultural connection between humans and cats, a cultural connection established by ancient civilizations beforehand around our planet. On a side note, the Jaguar-themed add-on appeared as a mini-boss in the first Street Fighter game, but consequently reappeared as a playable character in the Street Fighter Alpha games and updated editions of Street Fighter 4. I've previously mentioned Felicia as a domestic cat-themed character in the Darkstalkers series, but will also mention she appeared as a playable character in the very first Darkstalkers game, subtitled as The Night Warriors. Humans and cats constitute two of the most significant predators in the animal kingdom. Cats not only have teeth, but also retractable claws on all four of their legs. As for us humans, our brains constitute a weapon in their own right, and no amount of anti-meat crusading changes that. Granted that cats lean more towards the carnivore criteria, and humans more broadly constitute omnivores. I previously mentioned that domestic cats not only have 95% the same DNA as tigers, but also that domestic cats carry 9/10 the same DNA as humans. That means domestic cats carry a 5% DNA difference to tigers and 10% DNA difference to humans. If you subtract 100 from 10 and 5, you'd get an 85% DNA similarity between humans and tigers. Sagat develops a rivalry towards the main Street Fighter character, namely Ryu, and Ryu literally means dragon in Japanese. This rivalry reflects the powerful polarity between tigers and dragons, as illustrated by Chinese mythology. The Chinese were onto something because humans actually carry a great deal of similarities to both felines and reptiles.